Welcome to Rom Wills Money Matters. Society needs job creators. I have to shout out my mother, rest her soul. I remember we just had a conversation about all these jobs disappearing, and this was during the Great Recession. This was during the Great Recession. I was like, all these jobs disappearing, and my mother, she, rest her soul, she was like straight to the point. She was one of those people, she ain't talk a whole lot or have all this complicated stuff. And she wasn't one of these economists you see on like social media, television and stuff trying to make things all complicated. I was like, all these jobs are disappearing. And she just looked at me in her way and just said, just create more jobs. And, rest her soul. But like I said, that was her nature, just to be straight to the point. Society needs job creators. Because, this week I've talked about these layoffs, government layoffs, private industry layoffs and everything. And there's businesses going out of business, all of that, right? But you still got people out here. You still need services. What's needed are job creators. Like, and everybody's not that. But and I'm going to tell you what, I remember years ago when I was working, and I had mentioned this company I was working for, a website I was working for, my one time being fired, right? Because I would write articles for them. And I remember, and it was black owned, and it was orientated towards the black community, right? And I never forget, I wrote an article talking about black entrepreneurs, how important they were. And somebody called themselves calling me out saying, well, they don't give money to people. I was like, you didn't get the point of what I was talking about. They were creating jobs. I'm going to tell you what. We need job creators. Like, unfortunately, even though I said everybody should have a side business, let's just be real. A lot of people who might get a side business might be solopreneurs. And that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. But then you got some people ain't even that. And let's just be real. A lot of people, for whatever reason, and even despite what I'm saying, despite what I preach, can only work for other people. And you know what? Okay. Just okay with that. I still have my philosophy, but everybody, they can't create their own thing because they need to work for somebody. But you need somebody to create jobs for them to work for. Like employee firms and stuff are very important. Like it's one thing to create a business. Like I said, being a solopreneur, that's great. But then if somebody is an entrepreneur who can actually create jobs for someone else, that's very important too. That's very important. Like, when people are talking about a business coming to an area, they'll say it's creating this many jobs. Now they might say, well, it's creating 20 jobs. But see, here's the thing though. Those 20 people, they actually create jobs because they live in either in an apartment, renting an apartment, renting a house, owning a condo or something. They paying money to somebody. That's creating more jobs. That's creating more jobs. Those jobs where they paying into, that's creating jobs. Or let's say somebody has a house. That's creating jobs. That's creating jobs because you gotta have you gotta have electricity and everything. That's creating jobs. You gotta put some food in there. That's creating jobs. Shoot, if a pipe busts, that's creating jobs. But in order to even get to that point, you have to have some job creators. And any society needs some people who can do that. Like I said, it's unfortunate. Everybody can't be solopreneurs. And even though I said every person should think in terms of a side business, even then, some people going to see that. And they saw that video I did. And they still was like, they just ain't there. And I've actually talked with some people. They just don't have it in them. And even with solopreneurs, they can only go so far. You know, they can take care of themselves. That's great. But society needs some people who can actually create jobs, who can actually, you know, I don't know, like it could be an online, it could be a website where they shipping stuff out to people, right? There was a young lady, and I call her, I call everybody young. She got to be like late 40s or 50s, but found out she had a little warehouse where she was shipping stuff out, and she had people working in there, and that was good because it created jobs. A couple people have warehouses. Sometimes you might have a brick and mortar. You're going to need some people who work in there, even if it's a few other people, but it's creating jobs. Because even with a lot of these layoffs and even businesses going out, somebody needs to create jobs for people, because that is needed. It's needed. And that's one of the things too, even with everything going on, you still have some businesses that are growing, because I'm looking at in my area, I've said several times, you have some businesses going out, but I know there was a major restaurant that went out of business, but then almost right away, another business moved in, and I haven't been in there yet because every time I go, there's a long line, but they're creating jobs. When I look at any new businesses created, any stores, restaurants, whatever, that's actually an important thing to create jobs. And I actually should. If I was younger, I have an idea for some jobs. And even then, like I always said, if this don't work out, I have an idea about creating some jobs. I'm actually connected with some wholesale clothing places and stuff that's selling some things. And I could get a whole bunch of stuff and start selling them, And I would definitely have to create jobs there because let's just say it's some luxury brands, and the plan I had I would definitely need some extra people. I would definitely need them. And I still might do it. But the society needs that. Like I said, it'd be great if everybody could get their own business and everything. That's not, even though I promote it, I also gotta be realistic. Everybody's not gonna do that. Everybody can't do that. Like it or not, some people, they just built just to work for other people because they don't have it in them to start a business or something. And that's okay. But the job creators themselves are very important. Very, very important. We need more of them. We need people who are going to create something, and indeed, that's one thing that, should be talked about. Is even taught. Okay, who can create jobs? Who has some ideas? They should be getting government help, creating it, or even banks. Even though I talked about like having your savings or something to start something, we really need to think about that, as a society, creating the jobs, all right? So anyway, I want y'all to think about that. If you have an idea for something that you create, maybe go for it. Maybe look into it more, all right? So anyway, that's all I have for today. Y'all know the deal. Let's go make that money.